What up? It's Wall Street, and I'm back today doing another season review for the 24-25 NBA season for a team that disappointed a lot of people this year, the Philadelphia 76ers. And I just want to talk about how much of a disaster this season was, because it was a disaster is an understatement. This was a team that imagined themselves going to at least the conference finals this year. You know, they added Paul George. They thought that was going to put them over the top. And boy, did they crash and burn. Oh, Lord. It was just like, and they started off bad. Like, I think they started off like 2-10. It was real bad. And everyone was like, oh, are they going to turn around? And I'm pretty sure I made a video, you know, back in the beginning of the season being like, who's more likely to turn around, the Bucks or the 76ers? And on some level, I thought both of them were probably going to turn around, right? Like, regardless of what I said in that video, I thought, like, there's no way the Sixers actually finish, like, out of the playoffs. There's no way. I was like, they're going to be a play-in team. They have to. Like, especially because, like, the play-in teams in the East, like, at the bottom of the East for the play-in teams, like, Miami made it in as the 10th spot. They're 37-45. The Bulls 39-43 at the 9 slot. Like, the Hawks under 500 at 40-42 at the 8 spot. I was like, the Sixers might not finish 500, but there's no way that they can't get into the play-in, right? Like, that was kind of my thought, like, going into the beginning of, you know, 2025. I was like, they have to. And they just didn't do it. They didn't do it. And a lot of it, obviously, is injuries. But I was watching ESPN the other day, and Stephen A. Smith was saying how crazy it is that, you know, David Griffin of the Pelicans got fired, and he's surprised that Daryl Morey still has a job. And frankly, I agree with him, right? I don't want to say that anybody should get fired, this and that, whatever, right? Like, I don't want to necessarily say that, but at the same time, like, what was Daryl Morey thinking when he was like, I'm going to sign Paul George, who's 34 years old. He's had catastrophic injuries in the past, and frankly hasn't won anything with the Clippers. I'm going to sign Paul George to a 4-year contract that has a player option in the 27-28 season for $56 million. Paul George is going to be 38 years old when he has that player option. You would be out of your mind if you sit there and tell me that Paul George isn't going to take a $56 million option when he's 38 years old. You can walk straight out the door if you're going to tell me that, because there's no way. There's no way. No way. Okay? Joel Embiid is a different story, because when Joel Embiid is healthy, he's an MVP, right? He's one of, if not the most dominant players we've seen in the modern era, right? And he's very skilled. As dominant as he is in the paint, he's also incredibly skilled. He can shoot the mid-range like anyone in the NBA, right? Like, he's such a skilled player. He can put the ball on the floor, does a lot of things well. But the whole time he played this year, and he only played a handful of games, only played 19 games, put up 23.8 points per game, which is not bad, but it's much less than what he's been doing. And he just didn't look right? He didn't look right from the jump. Didn't look like he was putting a lot of effort in. And looking back on now, it's not that he necessarily wasn't putting an effort. It was just like he was playing so injured, right? And there's a lot of questions about, is he actually even going to be able to come back to this team and perform the way that he needs to perform, right? Like, his career might just be done, right, on some level, which I really hope it's not, because he's one of the most exciting players to watch, in my opinion. A lot of people say that they don't like watching him because he gets so many foul calls and this and that, whatever. You have to realize this dude's gonna get foul calls. When you're 7 foot plus and, like, you know, 280 pounds, like, people are gonna have to foul you. There's no way that people are just not gonna foul you. So that's that with Joel Embiid, right? And he's under contract for a long time as well. He's under contract until the 28-29 season, in which he has a player option for $67 million. He's probably going to take that when he's 35 years old, I would imagine, because at this point, I don't see him really playing past the age of 35 if he can make it there. Tyrese Maxey, obviously, just an absolute gem that the Sixers have. 26.3 points per game, 52 games played. They started sitting him out a little bit more at the end of the season. I personally think, obviously, that's for tanking purposes, because if the Sixers, who currently have the 5th best odds to get the number 1 overall pick, so if the lottery pans out exactly how records are sorted, they're going to have the 5th pick. If that pick falls out of the top 6, it goes to Oklahoma City, who everyone knows does not need the pick, right? So if OKC gets that pick, I don't know if they're trading it. I don't know what they're doing, right? So if 2 teams jump ahead of the Sixers, they lose that pick, which is really going to that's going to be bad. That's going to be bad. So they really need this pick. They need the lottery to work in their favor. The brightest spot of the entire season, in my opinion, was how good Quentin Grimes was for the Sixers. He played 28 games for them, averaged nearly 22 points per game across those 28 games. He's going to be an unrestricted free agent this season, or this offseason, I should say. So the Sixers have the right to match. I think they should, because they definitely they need the match. I don't know why you would let a player like this go. He's only 24 years old. He's very, very good, very skilled, plays with that grit, locks in on defense as well. So I think they got to do something about that. They got to make sure Quentin Grimes is on this team next year. And then the other thing is Jared McCain went down with the ACL injury, early on, right? Only played a handful of games. He was looking like the sure shot rookie of the year before he went down. Only played 23 games, was averaging 15.3 points per game. If he had continued playing and, kept those numbers, he would have finished the season as the highest scoring rookie on points per game average. So there's a lot of potential here. It's just very contingent on, are the players that you have all this money going to, and Joel Embiid and Paul George, are they going to be able to stay healthy? Because if they're not, you got to trade them. Like Daryl Morey, you got to lock in. And, the Sixers ownership has a lot of faith in Daryl Morey, I would imagine, because if I was the owner of a team and my, GM or president of basketball ops or whatever signs a 34-year-old who just spent several years on the Clippers not winning, basically, right, and had that performance in the bubble where they just wanted to go home, basically, I'm not giving him that type of money. I'm just not doing it. I can't rationalize doing that. And the fact that they got further last year without Paul George, and right, Joel Embiid was more healthy last season, I get it, but still, I don't like the move. I didn't really think it was going to put them over the top. I wanted to be optimistic. I have friends that are Sixers fans, so I was like, I hope this works out for you guys, but I didn't see it turning out that way. So we're going to see what happens, man. But the Sixers could come away with a really high pick in the draft. They could also come away with no pick in the draft. So there's a lot of things that are going to be very important, coming up here in this offseason. I don't think they really should be signing free agents unless they're re-signing guys on their team that perform well. I think Gershon Yabusele should re-sign. I don't know if they're going to be able to do that because he's probably going to command more than he's getting paid now. He's getting paid under $3 million right now. He's probably going to command at least 4 or 5. They probably could swing that, but who knows? Quentin Grimes is definitely going to get a big deal, at least 8 figures per year. So we got to see what's going on there with him. And Kyle Lowry, do you keep him? Is he coming back to the team? He's 39 years old. What happens there? So but I liked Ricky Council. He's under contract next year. Adam Bona, he's under contract next year. You got a lot of stuff going on. Kelly Oubre as a player option for next season. Will he take that? Andre Drummond as a player option for next season. Is he going to take that? There's a lot of question marks here going into free agency and the draft. But, man, what a rough season for the Philadelphia 76ers. I am hoping that they can get this together. I hope Joel Embiid and Paul George come back healthy because I do think at full strength they should be an interesting team to watch. They just got to get reps together and start playing together and see how they can most effectively work together on the court, because that's really the key. You can have a ton of talent, but if you guys don't have reps playing together, you're probably never going to pan out to do much. So you got to get that going. Hopefully they'll be back in the playoffs next season, and we'll see what happens. But if you guys are Sixers fans, please leave some comments down below. Let me know what you think about this past season. How do you think next season is going to turn out for you guys? What are you thinking about the draft, free agency? Let me know. But I'm going to catch you guys later, man. Stay safe, stay humble, stay up, stay blessed, handle business, stand on business. Peace out.